Hello everybody and welcome to another VR video. Today, we're trying out the newly released VR game by Devolver Digital, Gorn, which has you in some sort of Roman arena type thing, fighting off a bunch of other people with identical faces. So I've already kind of gotten myself situated in the game, and I'll sort of show you what's going on. So first off, this is my ready room, as it were. There's a whole bunch of different weapons I can unlock by completing various objectives while in the game. For example, I unlocked that thing. Oop, I just hit my hand. Actually, I think what it is these are all weapons I can start off the match with. Because when I start the match, and you'll see in a second, I get a bunch of weapons I can choose from to use. Yeah, so it's like a Roman arena type thing. That's the king. Fuck you. So, I guess the game is intentionally designed with sort of like rubber random physics going on, because my weapons are all like that. The guys are all ragdolly as like to death. Get over here. Oh, it is kind of nice. Oh, hey, he's got a skeleton? That's pretty neat. Ugh. Now, it is kind of easy, but I have still died before, so I'm not going to take any chances with these guys. Also has a dedicated flip the bird button. But yeah, that's basically the game as far as I can tell. You're fighting in an arena with a whole bunch of guys who are basically just giant, meaty ragdolls that you beat on. No, can't do it. I don't have quite the right amount of control to bring it up slowly. Whoa! What the? Also, it's early access, as you can probably tell. Like, that was really rough just now. Oh boy. I'm glad I caught that on video, because nobody would have believed me otherwise. Look at the blood! Where'd that sword go? Oh, there. Oh, what? Hey, what? Ah, I guess I died already. So yeah, you can die fairly quickly if you're not careful. It only takes like one good smack. Don't do that again, please. That was scary. I thought my computer was gonna crash. Ah. Yeah, game's actually not too easy, all things considered. It looks like it would be, because it's just a bunch of crazy wiggle physics. But the game actually has some difficulty to it when you're trying to not die. Get over here. God damn it, really? I have trouble with armor. I think I might be able to actually rip it off of them. And it looks like the game does decrease in difficulty the more you die. So that's a nice thing. Get over here. Woo! Yeah. There we go. I'm literally just windmilling my arms and moving forwards, and if you get hurt, it's your own fault. Oh, cool, I won. I'm glad I didn't hit anything just then, because I really... Oh, hey, what's this? Can I? Nope, just can't touch that. Okay, so, as far as modes in here, endless mode, I'm guessing, is just fight until you die in the arena. Champion battles. Every so often, there's going to be a guy who's just got a big mask on and doing crazy stuff, and you can fight him. In my case, it was a guy wearing that mask who actually, it was quite funny. He smacked himself in the head with a flail and then killed himself, and I didn't have to do anything. So, back onto the arena. The game, unfortunately, doesn't have a whole lot of substance right now, because it's just this. It's just fighting in the arena. Also, you can rip people's limbs off, like this. Come on, wake up. I think he just tried to bite me. Oh, no. Ow! Ow, I hit my arm. Oh, I missed it. Can I flick these? Fuck all, y'all. So right now, as I said, the game doesn't really have too much substance to it. You just keep fighting in more increasingly difficult fights in the arena until you die, and then you go back and it becomes slightly easier, and eventually you'll unlock different kinds of weapons and that sort of thing. So, I don't know if it's worth the asking price right now, but it's alright. It's just kind of a goofy game that you do dumb stuff in VR. I'll take that. And of course, Bart Simpson style is the most effective way to go. Oh, come on. Alright, I think that's about it. There's not too much more to this game at the moment, because it's in early access, but check it out if you have a VR headset. I know that's probably a long shot, but it's out there. Some people do. Some people are interested in the game, and you know what to look for. Anyway, that's been it for Gorn. See you next time. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another VR video. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at 4D Toys. Now, 4D Toys is not really a game. It's pretty much what the name says on the tin, actually. It's a series of VR interactive demos explaining how things interact in four-dimensional space. Now, what is four-dimensional space? Luckily, the game has me covered with an explanation right here. So, as it explains, zero-dimensional space is a single point. Like that. Oh, gotta be careful I don't hit anything over here. One-dimensional space is a series of adjacent points. So I can drag this around. Two-dimensional space is a series of adjacent lines. So a square is a 2D object. A square is made of line segments placed next to each other along the second dimension. Like that. Three-dimensional space is a series of adjacent planes, or squares, or flat lines next to each other. So, if you move in the third-dimensional space, you find yourself in a new plane. Like this cube. It's just a bunch of squares drawn upwards. Four-dimensional space is a series of adjacent 3D spaces. If you move in the fourth dimension, you find yourself in a different 3D space. And a 4D cube is made out of 3D cubes placed next to each other along the fourth dimension. But because we can't see in 4 dimensions, we can't really conceptualize what that looks like. So all we see is this single cube in the entire 4D space. So, if you've ever seen Flatland, this is sort of an expansion on that into another dimension. So, where I am, let's say that's me, right? This circle, what I would see, if I can get over here. Okay, so it's kind of hard to get it to work, but if I'm in that two-dimensional space, there's no sphere here anymore. But as I move forward, the sphere would grow in size until it reaches a specific point right here in the middle, then disappear. Now, what we see is a sphere just sitting there, and the two-dimensional person is just moving across the sphere's space. Which is basically the same thing that we would see if we were dealing with four-dimensional objects. So, I'm a three-dimensional object stuck with a 4D ball. There's a larger sphere here because I'm near the middle of the sphere. So, if I move, suddenly it's gone. Or here it's smaller and it shrinks and grows. So, I guess if you think about it, it's basically like... Man, it's hard to explain this stuff. So the 4D sphere is a ball no matter what, but the size of the sphere depends on my particular three-dimensional slice. I am attempting to explain four-dimensional space very badly. So, here we are again with a cube. In two-dimensional space, okay, so in 3D space we can see that this cube is rotating, right? But if we go into two-dimensional space, this is what it looks like. We have no idea what's going on, even though in 4D space it's really simple to look at. If I move around, sometimes it's there, sometimes it disappears, sometimes it just lightly intersects. It's all very mysterious. And then over here, we have the tesseract, which is a 4D cube. This is basically the same thing as that cube was in 3D space. This particular section of 3D space, we can see what parts of the cube, but it keeps shifting around, even though in 4D space all it's doing is a very simple turn or whatever. And then here's an explanation. So what about time? Time is a little bit like a fourth dimension. We can think of each instant as a 3D space lined up along the axis of time. However, time is always moving forward, while a fourth spatial dimension would allow you to move back and forth along it at will. Every part of 4D space would experience time moving forward simultaneously, i.e. every 3D space in the 4D slider experiences time moving forward simultaneously. In this scene, the 3 spheres are falling at the same time, each at a different location along the 4th dimension. So there's actually 3 spheres dropping right now. All of them are dropping at the exact same time. Stop showing up, man. But each of them are showing up at the exact same time. It just so happens that we can only see one of them or 2 of them at any given time along this 4-dimensional axis. And of course, not all of them are interacting with this hypercube that's sitting in the middle of the floor. The red one is, but the green one and blue one aren't. And the green one and blue one aren't even interacting with each other if I were to throw them at each other. It's all very mysterious. So yeah, that's a basic explanation, very confusing explanation on how 4 dimensions works. So what this game, quote-unquote game, is just a whole bunch of weird 4-dimensional objects interacting in weird ways. For example, this one's kind of interesting because it's a hypercube that you're trying to fit into this hole. The trick is that this isn't like a physics glitch where the hitbox is missing. What happens is, if I scroll along, this hypercube is actually on a solid space. That hole in the table only exists in a very specific region of space, and the hypercube just happens to be intersecting at a point where the hole isn't there, so it won't fall in. So if I adjust it a little bit, suddenly it goes in. That's because here, the hypercube and the hole are existing at the same place, or more or less the same place. But if I were to shift this a little bit, again, it's floating in midair, even though, by rights, this should be falling in that hole. It's just really cool and interesting. This is just like a small toy. It's like $5, I think, on Steam, but the main reason I'm bringing this up and looking at it at all is because it's made by the guy who's making a game called Megakure. I think that's how you pronounce it. But it's a 4D platform puzzling game, which has been in development for, God, I don't know how long, like 5 years at this point. I'm still waiting for that game to come out, incidentally. But this is something he made just sort of to play around with, and it's really interesting to sort of try and conceptualize and figure out how this stuff works. And like 4-dimensional stuff and multidimensional objects are really interesting. It's just something you don't experience in real life, or maybe you do and you just never realize it because they're all just shifted slightly off. Anyway, that's been it for 4D toys, really. I'm just gonna fool around with a couple more of these things. Look at this, it's cool. You can just see it shifting around as you move across dimensions. If I throw it, it just bounces out of the dimension. And of course the thing has explanations of what's going on. But yeah, thanks for watching. That's been 4D Toys. I'll see you next time.